Okay, picture this. You're scrolling through TikTok or Instagram, right? And instead of some perfectly curated influencer trying to sell you the latest, I don't know, $300 smart bassinet, they're actually begging you not to buy it. Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to dive right into this massive viral shift happening in modern parenting. It's a movement that is completely flipping the script on the status quo and honestly reshaping how families approach both child development and their own digital diets.
Let's be real for a second. For years, the prevailing message has been that to be a good parent, you absolutely got to have the interactive tablet, the monthly subscription toy boxes, the perfectly aesthetic gear, the whole shebang. But we kind of have to ask, are we just completely exhausted by having to buy everything? Well, the source data points to a resounding yes. There is this profound growing burnout with this endless cycle of purchasing, and it's leading to a very viral, very real pushback.
So, this pushback actually has a name. It's called de-influencing. And what's incredibly fascinating here is the nuance of it all. Like, it isn't about moving entirely off the grid or refusing to ever buy a single thing again. Actually, scratch that. It's more like a highly targeted critique against overconsumption. You literally have creators and experts actively encouraging their audiences to just pause, take a breath before clicking add to cart. They're helping people realize that a literal mountain of premium products definitely isn't a prerequisite for raising a happy, healthy child.
So, if families aren't buying the latest tech gadgets, what exactly are they doing instead? Well, they're actively changing their priorities. This pushback on overconsumption is fundamentally altering the landscape of early education right at home. Turns out, you don't need a constant stream of cardboard boxes showing up at your door to foster a great environment for young minds. Instead of relying on material goods to solve everyday parenting challenges, families are just stripping things right back to the basics.
What we're seeing is parents replacing that overconsumption with totally grounded analog priorities. We're talking about a renewed focus on play-based education, real social-emotional development, and establishing everyday routines that actually build independence. These are the fundamental developmental pillars that you simply cannot buy in a store. No way. They require time, patience, and true presence. By rejecting the idea that every single milestone needs some specific expensive product, families are basically reclaiming their time and focusing on the deeply human aspects of raising kids. Now, this grounded approach brings us to a major crossroads. It's the choice between traditional, real-world play and the sudden, overwhelming rush of artificial intelligence. I mean, we're living in a moment where AI is being integrated into absolutely everything, right down to educational tools designed for toddlers. But the de-influencing movement in early education is drawing a really hard line in the sand right here. They are loudly advocating for a return to tangible, physical play over these digital, artificially intelligent substitutes. When we put these side by side, the data is incredibly clear. Look, AI isn't necessarily the enemy here, but it absolutely has to be a supporting tool, not a human substitute. There's a really honest caveat in the research. Nobody is saying technology is inherently evil, but experts heavily stress that, especially for young children, an AI program just cannot replace a real conversation or a scraped knee or the tactile feeling of stacking up wooden blocks until they fall over. Real-world experiences absolutely must be the primary focus, with technology taking a far back seat. Because let's look at what young children actually need first. This completely validates the desire to just put the iPads in a drawer and let kids play. They desperately need human interaction, totally unstructured play, real relationships, and raw creativity. These analog realities are the actual, literal building blocks of a healthy brain. And honestly, the beauty of this side of the de-influencing trend is just how validating it is. It's basically telling parents, hey, you are enough. The messy, unstructured, gadget-free playtime happening right there in your living room, that is actually the highest quality education your child can get.
But wait for it, here is where things get fascinatingly complicated. There is a massive, glaring paradox right at the heart of this trend. Think about where exactly we are hearing this message. We have a movement entirely dedicated to telling people to stop consuming, and yet it's being broadcasted on platforms designed exclusively to drive consumption. It is a wildly interesting contradiction that the source material points out, and it really makes you question the very nature of the movement itself.
This quote perfectly hits the nail on the head. It is a completely self-aware critique happening inside the influencer economy. The creators posting these videos Oh, they know exactly what they are doing. They are using the precise tools of the algorithm, the quick hooks, the perfect aesthetic lighting, the trending audio, to dismantle the very culture that algorithm usually tries to promote. It functions almost like a Trojan horse of minimalist parenting, delivered straight into your daily scrolling feed.
And let's break down how this builds into a highly ironic cycle. Step 1. Creators survive by telling you not to buy things. Step 2. They simultaneously demand your absolute attention. Even if they aren't selling you a physical product, they are selling you their ideology, and their visibility depends entirely on your continued engagement. You might not be giving them your money, but you are still giving them your most valuable asset, your time. They need your likes, your comments, and your watch time to stay relevant. So at the end of the day, you are still consuming content, even if you aren't consuming products.
So, I want to leave you with this provocative thought to chew on the next time you find yourself scrolling through your feed. When a creator effectively de-influences you from buying the latest parenting gadget, but keeps you watching their videos for another hour instead of actually engaging in that analog real-world play with your kids, are you actually breaking the cycle or just changing what you consume? It's a seriously fascinating dynamic to keep in mind. Thanks for joining me for this explainer, and keep questioning what's on your screen.